A lot of people now know me as kind of a health nut, running, lifting, boxing. But growing up, I was actually known as the fat kid. So I remember this one time, I was in first grade, Mrs. Stack's class, and they went around the room and asked everyone what they wanted to be when they grew up. And I remember I said I wanted to be a fireman or a stuntman. And you know what my first grade teacher told me in front of the entire class? She said, and I remember her quote as clear as day, "Well, I think you're gonna have to lose some weight if you want to do one of those things." That stuck with me for my entire life. I remember it clear as day today. Years later, I was at summer camp, and I remember I was about 5th or 6th grade, and I remember all the other guys were hanging out with girls, and suddenly a jokefest started because someone called me Spanky. I don't know if you remember the Little Rascals character, and everyone just thought that was the funniest thing. And as you can imagine, I didn't find it too funny at all. I remember calling my mom, asking her to come home from camp, crying. But those are the types of things I had to deal with growing up. My parents weren't much for allowing me to make myself into a victim, so they were pretty blunt with me. They told me I had to start eating better and working out. They could motivate me, they could buy me better foods to eat, but I had to want it, not just need it. It was up to me to take responsibility to make a change in my life. You know, it wasn't until about 7th grade that I remember I wasn't very good at basketball, but we were at basketball practice and the coach would have us run suicide sprints. And a couple days in a row, I did really well in the sprints and I was up front. And the basketball coach was also a track coach, and he urged me to come out for the track team. And as it turned out, I was pretty darn good at track. I actually anchored a winning relay in the championship. And finally, I had that one thing that I really wanted, and that was to do well in track. So here we are today. I'm a coach. What lesson did I learn from that adversity at a young age? Well, first, don't make yourself into a victim. Take responsibility for your situation. No excuses, and most importantly, if you want to make big positive change in your life, if you want to level up your situation, you've got to want it and not just need it. I know people who will be sick, they'll be in pain, but they will avoid going to the doctor to spend a few dollars because even though they know they need it, it's not something they want. But they won't hesitate to spend $1,000 on a new smartphone or several $1,000s on a new TV because it's something they want. And if you really want something, you could do things you never thought possible. So that, my friends, is the key to being resilient. Thank you.